We are now on the last unit of our class, of our lessons. So this is Unit 4, and this recording will be about Lesson 1. Unit 4 is about the types of speeches. And under this Lesson 1, we are going to learn about the speeches according to purpose. So when you are going to deliver a speech, you may be asking these questions. How and when to share ideas? How and when? Next, to whom are you going to share these ideas? Third, what are the ideas that you have to share? And finally, why is there a need to share these ideas? Now, we have these types of speech according to purpose. These are the expository speech or the speech to inform. And the second one is the speech to entertain. And the third is the speech to persuade. So what are these? The speech to inform, or we call this the expository speech. An expository speech is an informative speech that explains an idea, process, a concept, or a set of facts. It also aims to instruct or educate and to impart knowledge to the listener. And finally, the main purpose of the speaker in an expository speech is to make the listeners learn something they had not known about before. So what are examples of this? The examples of speech to inform are giving a lecture. So you'll always hear this from your teachers. Introducing a guest speaker. So this is something that is unknown to the audience. Explaining a process is also another form of informative speech. Reporting an event that is like in the news reports. Describing a thing. So if you want to show somebody how something looks like or someone looks like. And third is narrating a story or a personal experience. So most of these are information that are not known to your audience, or if they have an idea of these things, it may be a little less than the main speaker or than you know. So here are again the tips in delivering an expository speech. Standing, the first one, standing with a dignified posture but showing warmth and confidence is a good manifestation of a good speaker. So bad posture is an uncomfortable sight to the listeners. So if you are not standing straight, it seems like you are so relaxed and you are not sincere. And standing also with good posture shows that you know what you are talking about and you have confidence in what you are saying. Second, using what? Using analogy or comparison to assist comprehension. One may also insert humor to make the speech interesting and to avoid drabness or boredom, especially in presenting figures, data, or process. So if the thing is difficult to understand for your readers, you may, or listeners, you may use things that are familiar to them. In a very long lecture, you may use some humor to keep your audience awake. In speaking, how do you speak? This is true in every speech. Speaking clearly with confidence and sometimes increasing the volume of one's voice to emphasize key points is needed. So there should be variation in the way you speak. And ending. How do you end your speech? Ending the speech with a short summary or expressing the courteous attention of the listeners, expressing goodwill to your listeners, thanking them for listening to you. All these four tips will make you be successful in your speech delivery. The speech to entertain. If the speaker desires for the audience to enjoy themselves while listening to the speech, then the speech is to prepare, the speech that you prepare is an entertaining speech. This type of speech aims to amuse the audience. Hence, the speaker must pay close attention not only on the content but more on how the speech is to be delivered. So it's not only to make them laugh, you could also make your audience cry or angry or arouse their different emotions. So what are examples of this speech to entertain? These are declamation. I'm sure you are familiar with declamation. So it is presenting an idea mostly with a personal experience, seemingly a personal experience, or the speaker claims a certain character and expresses the ideas, usually in different emotions, showing different emotions. Next, reader's theater. Reader's theater is reading through a text but with some form of actions. Usually this is done with other people, or you may do it individually, or it could be with a group. Third is narrative. So any form of storytelling, any form of chronological sequencing of events that could be considered under narratives. And fourth, another example is dramatic monologue. So I'm sure you are familiar with dramatic monologue. This is a little bit like declamation, but when with a dramatic monologue, there's only one person acting, and he or she is just changing the characters using different positions and different facial expressions and gestures and voice. Okay. So here are ways or tips in delivering a speech to entertain. One, using simple ideas. A complicated arrangement of ideas is an obstacle to understanding. Second, delivering the speech in a friendly and cheerful manner. Third, varying the tone of the voice. This makes delivery more entertaining. I'm sure you are going to really enjoy a speech to entertain. And beginning and ending the speech with humor. The entire speech is tied together with one central idea. So remember, at the end of our class, you are expected to deliver your own speeches. So you can choose from any of this. You can have a speech to inform, a speech to entertain, or the third one, which is the speech to persuade. A speech to persuade has the following characteristics. When the listeners are made to agree with or believe in certain propositions, then the speaker should try to convince them through a persuasive speech. This kind of speech aims to move the audience mentally and to take a certain course of action. So I'm sure you're familiar with this. Examples. The very common one is debate. So there are usually two sides in a debate, two sides of the proposition, either affirmative or positive and negative. So there will be two sides, and you can present a debate with two people or two groups. You can also present a side of a debate, a side of the proposition if you're going to deliver one, and if you have chosen this type. Then, second is oration. So oration is a direct individual speech where the speaker talks directly to the audience. The audience is the second person to whom the speaker addresses his or her ideas. And third is the campaign speech. I'm sure you are familiar with this. So you are promoting somebody to a certain position, showing all the positive characteristics, qualities of that person. Or you may be doing your own campaign speech. Usually you show what you can do for others. Always, it's always about the positive things about the person that you are campaigning for. Or it could be about um, information. Campaign about information or advocacies, not only about a person. So you want to campaign about climate change, cleanliness, elimination of poverty, and so on. So what are the tips in delivering a persuasive speech? So we have to speak with conviction and being passionate and decisive but not angry. Then presenting your ideas in the clearest terms possible. One cannot convince the audience if they do not fully understand the message. And then using only solid facts and relevant examples and illustrations. So you have to really do some research on this. Then you have to establish eye contact. And there should be proper um, ex exchange of ideas. If you have to listen carefully to what the other person is saying before you present your own, so that there will be no confusion. Yeah, I have exchanged the. So the process is speaking with conviction, presenting ideas clearly, establishing eye contact, and using only solid facts and relevant examples and illustrations. So that's the way it should go. Okay, so what does the Bible say about communication or speaking? Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace to the hearers." So everything we say should help, should edify. It should not hurt or destroy others. That's all for this lesson 1.